Thank goodness I can still see the path outside my door, framed by purple bougainvillea, palm trees, and clay pots of pink and white impatiens. It gives me some peace, knowing who is on their way to my door and who is just walking by. From this chair in the living room of my garden flat, where I spend most of my time these days, I look out to a large window which allows me to see my family and friends as they come down the path. Most of all, I'm grateful to see Tali arriving as she does every afternoon on the dot at 4:15. This youngest granddaughter of mine is now a young mother herself. She's only ever lived 5 minutes away from me by foot. Even after getting married, she insisted on staying in the neighbourhood. She wants to be close to me, she says. Not necessary, I answer back, not really believing my words. Luckily, Tali knows better. We share a kind of unspoken language. I find it hard to describe why, but I feel she understands me, and I her. She was just a toddler when her father was killed in a car crash on a rainy afternoon years ago. I stepped in, as a second parent of sorts, to help my daughter, Ruthie, her mother, who became a widow and single mother to 8 children that terrible day. "Wait!" Tali calls out to her eldest daughter, Nita, whose hair is the colour of dark honey, just like Tali's. She's a beautiful, vibrant girl, now going on 4. She's already barrelling down the path, Tali trailing behind her, hands steady on the pushchair. It holds her youngest, Shaked, who was born at the height of the COVID pandemic. Even in lockdown, Tali would still come every day, but we would speak at a distance. Me from the balcony, her down in the garden below, one arm wrapped around Nita, Shaked strapped into a baby carrier. Buzz goes the doorbell. In sails Nita in full preschool glory, announcing herself to me and the world. "Savta," she bursts out, Hebrew for grandmother. Whatever is going on that day, whether it's more bad news in the world or another ache and pain, I feel a warmth rising inside whenever I see her and break into a smile. She presents me with a drawing filled with hearts, balloons, and the occasional Mickey Mouse sticker. Her eyes grow wide when I tell her Mickey Mouse and I are the same age, both born 93 years ago, in 1928. And then she settles down at my feet, and, as she spreads out her shape-matching game, my mind travels back almost 90 years. When I was only a little older than Nita, I had just arrived in Amsterdam with my parents, escaping Berlin after Hitler came to power and fired my father, a deputy cabinet member in the Prussian government during the Weimar Republic. We moved into a 2-bedroom apartment in a residential neighbourhood, overlooking green trees and neat squares. One day, not long after our arrival, I walked hand in hand with my mother to a local grocery. There, my mother noticed another woman talking in German to her dark-eyed daughter, who was about my age. The 2 mothers spoke briefly to one another, smiling, clearly relieved to find some familiarity in this foreign place. I was a shy child, and I clung to my mother's leg, unused to other children, but curious about the little girl looking back at me. She was to be my very first friend, a childhood playmate, neighbour, and school friend. Our families became close as they navigated life as refugees in a new city, sharing their fears as the war, occupation, and all that would mean for us moved inexorably closer. That little girl, so full of life, would become the most famous victim of the Holocaust. A symbol, in many ways, of all the hope and promise that was lost to hatred and murder. Talking about her story, our story, would later become a thread that bound me to her and kept our friendship alive long after she was gone. But from when we first met to when she abruptly disappeared from my life not long before my 14th birthday, to reappear fleetingly in the strangest and most tragic of ways, she was simply my friend, Anne Frank.